I was on the largest Netflix show ever created, Squid Games, The Challenge. But unlike the 99% of the typical reality show applicants, I wasn't there to become famous. I was in it for the money, the largest cash prize in history. You see, me and my friends, we were launching a company and we wanted to fund the launch ourselves with the prize money. But to win that prize, I'd have to go into the world of over-the-top drama seekers and narcissistic influencers. As an introvert, the idea of being on camera is hard enough for me as it is. And in a sea of Instagram authenticity, I was worried I wouldn't even find one real human. But to get our company off the ground, a little suffering would be worth it. Once I got my hotel room key, I was immediately going to my hotel room. I had to stay there for 3 days because we had a quarantine for 3 days because of COVID. We did not want to spread it, and they wanted to come to our rooms individually to do a cotton swab in our noses to make sure that we don't have COVID. And in case we did, then we don't get to be on the show, and they already had backup contestants for that. What did I do in the 3-day quarantine in my hotel room? I just simply talked to my friends and family on my cell phone or iPad. I got to watch Great British Bake Off Junior Edition, where yes, I did cry because I think it just was like lack of sleep, excitement, scared, nervousness, and watching a kid make it through the finals of her baking made my day, and I cried in my hotel room by myself. That's what I did. So while we were in the hotel, we weren't allowed to talk to each other at all. And I think there are 2 reasons for that. 1, they don't want us to look each other up on social media. And 2, they want us to have an organic conversation when we're actually on film. So I understand why we had to stay silent. Did we? No, obviously not. We definitely talked a bit. They had to even tell us to be quiet and constantly tell us, please, no talking to each other, guys, please. They had to do that so many times, it was ridiculous. It was like we were 13. We just couldn't keep our mouths shut. We were too excited to get to know each other. I read this article said by one of the players that they think that the producers were trying to give them diarrhea from the food on purpose at the hotel room. It was just regular food. They're feeding 456 players plus staff. It's not gonna be gourmet, it's just food. I mean, mostly was it Indian food? Yeah, it was freaking delicious. Did it give me diarrhea? No, but I really wished it did because I was really backed up. But honestly, this goes to show the amount of paranoia and distrust that they had with the producers from the beginning. Red light, green light, on the show will show you that we're playing this for 10 minutes. And every one of you guys would be like, oh man, I don't understand how they couldn't make it past the line within the 10 minutes. 1, yes, it was like negative, 2, 3 degrees while we were playing. We only had our jumpsuits. They made us put down our zippers so we can actually, I guess the word is look good on camera. We were freezing. There were people getting frostbites. People were passing the fuck out. It was insane. And you think that you had to just stay frozen for like a couple seconds? No. You had to stay frozen for 30 minutes without moving in negative degree weather. One of my friends, his name is Chad. This is how frozen he was. He was laying on the ground thinking it's a good idea, which he did pass, but someone bigger than him was stepping on his hand. And the guy later was just like, oh shit, sorry dude, I'm stepping on your hand. He said he didn't fucking feel it. He didn't even know. It was blue. It doesn't matter. It was that cold that he couldn't feel a huge guy stepping on his hand. That's how brutal this was. Now, additionally, you're like, oh, okay, negative degree weather. Easy, I can handle that. Sure, maybe not, but here's another factor. It was 7 hours. Try and hold anything for 7 hours, and especially in negative degree weather. Yeah, it was a hellhole. It was a battle. It was a shit show. So here's the thing. Even if contestants passed, Most of them just walked off the set because they couldn't handle the next game, or even think about going into the next game because the first game was that brutal. Even though they passed, this is a big deal, even though they passed and they made it through the most difficult round, they walked off the set because it was so difficult. They mentally wanted to break us, and that's what they did. The second game. Now, when you see it on Netflix, I'm pretty certain you'll see that we're all in a white room, and there's 4 lines that you had to form. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. And honestly, we all thought this was going to be tug of war. I should have known then that it wasn't going to be because there's like too many people. I think like 50 people in each line. So obviously it can't be tug of war. It was cookie cutting game. Now, I don't know if they show this on the show or not, but I was already in the 4th line, and the bigger guys, because they thought it was going to be tug of war, muscled me out of the 4th line, and I had to find myself in another line, which was the 2nd line. They asked the first 4 players in each row to come forward and go into a different room. Then all of a sudden they go, "Players, please stand up and stand in your line, please, facing forward." All of a sudden we go and look up, and the TV monitor goes, pew, and it shows the first 4 players going into a separate room, just like the TV show. And we're all like, "Oh shit, what's happening? What the fuck is happening?" So the game rules that they told the first 4 players is they have to make a unanimous decision on who's going to get the circle, the triangle, the star, and the umbrella. And there were 2 girls and 2 guys, and they had to make the decision within the next 2 minutes. They couldn't make the decision. They didn't tell anybody, but their squids went off, and they ended up all dying. And once we saw that, we're like, "Oh shit, oh my God, no way." So now we all know what's going to happen. And then the first 4 players of the line was again taken to another room. They also couldn't make a decision. Then the next 4 players go in through, right? And these guys are all dudes, all of them. And luckily in my line, my guy was the main bad guy in the show. So he was the alpha male. I knew something was gonna go down and they're gonna make a decision this round. This is the first time I get to see this, so I'm very excited. You couldn't have scripted a better script if you ever asked anyone to do this. This was fantastic. I'm just like in awe. And I'm just, I wish I had popcorn. I wish I was sitting there. This is the first time I knew this was going to be a really good show. So they all go in and they all gang up on that 4th line. His name was Spencer. And they're all like, "Hey bro, man up, man up. You know what you have to do. We're gonna go according to the show with a line number. So number 1, you get a circle. Number 2, you get a triangle. Number 3, star. 4, umbrella." And he's like freaking out. Everyone, as the clock goes down, within 20 seconds, they all go stand by their shape and they all start putting their hand in. And it counts down to like 10, 9, and all the guys are like, "Listen, bro, we're gonna help you. Once we get ours, we're gonna help you spit on that cookie, and we're gonna help you," which they can't. But he was just like panicking, and then it's like 5, 4, and his eyes are like this, 3, and then he finally goes and slow motion touches the umbrella, and all of us in line were like, and then in line 4, they're all like, "No!" And they throw things, they're screaming, they're angry. And I just have to say, I just look over there and I go, "Fuck you guys. That's what's up. That's what happens when you push the little girl out of that line and I get the triangle." Okay, so when it was our turn to film, me and my friend Chad, we got to open our cookies and see how it was, examine it, make sure it didn't have cracks or anything already on it. And we did examine it. I looked at my cookie and I looked at my friend's, Chad's cookie. His was like very indented with the triangle. Mine was like, it's indented. You could see the triangle, but it's not as deep as his. And I was just like, what the fuck? So now it's game time. the clock starts. And I'm here like scrambling and making sure that I'm not hitting outside the lines. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not a freaking 3-year-old. I know how to stay within the lines. I know I could do this. Why am I panicking? Just freaking relax. You're 30 years old. You know how to stay within the lines. Stay within the lines. And I'm yelling at myself. And all of a sudden I hear other people keep raising their hands that they're done. And I'm like, fuck, 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 fuck. And then I grab the cookie and I start spitting it and licking it. And I'm like, fuck, 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 fuck. Finally, it all broke loose. And I was like, fuck. And you raise your hand. And you have to make sure that that cookie does not break after you raise your hand. They inspect it. They come around. They look. And they're like, okay, you passed here. During that time, after I passed in the actual game, you have to go and get that inspected for the second person. That's the cookie expert that tells you, hey, yeah, you did pass without any cracks or anything, and then took your picture. But that whole time, you're just shaking. I'm like, my whole fate lies on this damn cookie. This is some bullshit thing. And you're just like, this is it. This is where my life comes down to, is this goddamn cookie. I'm freaking out, shaking. And the lady inspected. She even said it was okay. I freaked out even after because I was just like in the state of panic and thinking, did I really pass or did I not? And then once a minute or two passed, I'm like, okay, I know I passed. You can either keep the cookie, throw away the cookie. So I decided to eat the cookie. I don't care if there was a little bit of sand on there. I don't care if it was my spit that was on there. I just enjoyed the freaking flavor. And it was so needed when it was so deprived of us. In between the games, the producers were playing with us to have us interact with each other and I guess have some more footage. So they put a telephone near the podium. And everyone's just like, what? A random telephone? We were like a band of monkeys in a zoo when you're in that setting. You're just like, ooh, what is this? Oh, what is this? So everyone goes around. There's like a giant circle around thinking like what's happening. Everyone tries to answer, pick up the phone. Nothing, obviously, because the phone wasn't connected to anything. And I'm just like, oh man, humanity at its greatest. An hour, maybe an hour and a half later, the crew came in and they plug it into the wall. Now we're cooking. Everyone circles back again. Everyone's checking it out and they're like, I just only hear a dial tone. Finally, several hours later, the phone would ring for the first time. There was this guy. I think he was like number 201 or something like that. He's famous on TikTok or Instagram for being just kind of a bully to other foreigners. I did hear rumors that he was mean to this one other girl that was from South Africa, because this was international, and she had a unique accent, and he made fun of her for that accent, and I heard he made her cry. So obviously, people don't like that shit while you're, witnessing that stuff. So he was kind of like another bad guy on the show, and that player answered the phone first, and he's talking, and he's like, oh, yeah, okay, and then hangs up. All of a sudden, the guards come with a plate of burgers, French fries, and a soda, and they come out and give it to him. So remember how hungry I was with the cookie? We were all that desperate and hungry. So guess what happened? When you get a room full of people that are hungry, they start grabbing at your food. They grabbed the shit out of that food and everything fell onto the floor, even like the French fries, and people were accidentally stepping on it, and people actually ate the stuff off the floor. And these are shoes that went into the bathroom stalls. You're just like, oh, that is disgusting. But that's how badly we were wanting something different other than what we were eating. So there were several little tests along the way with the phone thing, and some people got donuts and margarita pizza or something like that, and you're like, huh, interesting. And then the phone rings again. So this is the 4th time it rings, right? 4 is an unlucky number in Korea, and some people are like, don't answer the phone, Steph, don't answer it, it's an unlucky number. And the guy who was being mean to the other player picked it up, and he was just like, okay, and you could see something different in his face, right? So all of a sudden he goes and says, all right, so-and-so, come answer the phone. They're going to give you a cookie. And then you're just like, what? They're going to give you a cookie? Or like, hey, actually, you know what? If you answer the phone, you can get a chocolate muffin or something. And we're all like, nah, no, bro, we're not going to answer that phone. You do you, but we're not answering it. Some people were hesitant and they're like, maybe. And we're all like, no, don't answer that phone. And all of a sudden, the countdown happens, And then they're like, player 2, whatever his number was, come back to the stage. And like he was gone for a little bit. All of a sudden, you see all the players' numbers and their faces. His face pulls up on the screen, on the big screen, and said that he was eliminated. And we're all like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit. And people were like, yeah, I fucking knew it. He fucking deserved it. That shit starter, all of that. I didn't know who he was. Oh no, it stopped recording. He was out. The third game, we all thought was also going to be tug of war. Yeah, I mean, we were like, okay, it's gonna be tug of war. So I picked my teammates according to that. So I got these big guys. I was so ready. It fucking was Battleship. And sorry, technically in the UK, I guess for copyright reasons, you're not allowed to say Battleship, it's Warship. But it was Battleship, basically. So they're like, okay, who's played this game before? And we all raised our hands. The girl that we chose as our captain said that we should pick her because her mom and dad were in the Navy and they've played this game before. She's a part of like some sort of naval thing, and everyone's just like, yeah, we're picking her as our captain. The moment I saw her step on stage, I saw her face totally blank, and I'm like, oh no, what have we done? We are going to lose. Because if you, as a captain, fail your team, you will also get out of the game. And I knew that pressure was weighing on her and the other captain. As captains, they tell us where to put the boats and who goes to which ship. I had no say in what I wanted to do. They pointed to me and they're like, go in there. And I'm like, I don't want to go into that ship. I don't want to be there. And I was just like, fuck. One of the guys was and I called him Dr. Wu for this, but I don't know. All I think about is Dr. Wu. And he's like telling us, oh, positive energy and all of that. You could feel it, feel the energy. And putting his hands out and shaking it like this. And as I knew our ship was going down, I'm like, shut the fuck up. Your positive energy is not gonna fucking let them not know where we are. We're going down. My guy next to me is like, no, have a positive energy. It could change. And I'm like, they know where we are. 3 of us are already dead. I'm like the 4th one. We're sinking. We are going to sink. I am realistic. I knew. I was just like, I'm dead. That did soften the blow where it didn't make it harder on me because it's something I never physically or mentally was able to do anything about. It was up to somebody else and I was just there. And that really sucked because after the games, after I got out, one of the producers came up to me and talked to me about this and they're like, well, since they did a psych profile on me, if you actually spoke up and became a leader in the group, you would have actually had a chance to win. So since I didn't speak up and in a group setting, they noticed that I just clamp up, they're like, you lost. And the lesson I took away from that is, I'm not doing that from here on out. So by now you can see I didn't win. I'm a little sour about that. And my company didn't benefit from it. However, I enjoyed my time there because of the people that I met. I made a few friends maybe a handful. My friend Chad, Jessica, Tyler, Dan. We had an understanding because him and I weren't in it to try and make it on camera. He and I were there to play the game like mercenaries. We'd go get up, eat, do whatever a little bit, hang out with some people, go to bed. There were some people that I was close with. The old guy, the mother-son duo, because once you were in that bunker without any electronics or anything, you tend to get close with people because it's like the olden days. Because there's no distractions, you actually start playing games, singing songs together, which they definitely discourage because that's against, I guess, some sort of copyright thing or something like that. They shut down a group singing thing, which was funny. You just end up talking to people, learning new things about them, and even though it's like a short stint, you learn a lot about them because that's all you had time to do is to get to know somebody. And I mean like really get to know somebody. Like we don't get to do that anymore because we're distracted, Without all those distractions, we really made a bond that was outside of anything, time and space. It was great. I had a great time. A lot of people, I think, miss that. Maybe less is more.